No.
Oh, so you're not a male. Oh, okay.
Thank you for the subscription,
All
Laura.
right,
I
but you
appreciate
just
you.
agreed with me. You just agreed.
No. You agreed with us. You said multiple times.
Okay, why you just
Yeah, so So you said multiple times that trans men are men. We all heard you. Everybody clapped for you, even though it was, for a little bit, like your good side came out, and now you're letting the dark side come back out over again. It's fine. It's fine. Whatever. I deal with demons. I deal with demons on a daily. It's whatever. Yeah. So we're gonna go through this. We're gonna go through this because you have a fundamental misunderstanding, and then I think we're kind of tired of the games, right? So a trans man is a man who was born female.
Nope, wrong. Because man is an adult male.
Yeah, how about you go search it up? Actually,
I think that's actually impossible.
Yeah. How about you go search it up? Actually,
my definition of a trans man. You said everyone can have their own definition, right? So my definition.
So long as you keep saying trans men are men, then fine. I don't really care.
Go for it. That would be 100%
true.
Everywhere and say that.
Someone who was born
everywhere and say that.
So they try to
shout off the rooftops. It's fine. So Brandon, so you think trans women are women? Yes.
Trans women are females who try to be a male, but they failed at it.
That's actually
that's actually what that is.
Brandon, it's so funny that you don't even know what a trans woman is.
No, I do.
Hold on.
I'm not going to call it.
Hold on. Trans women are born male.
I'm not going to call a male who thinks they're a female a trans woman.
No one thinks that they're female. No one is saying that they know the sex they were born as. We're talking about gender.
Right. So, Brandon, instead of you actually teaching us anything tonight, we're actually the ones advocating to you. But honestly, it's fine. That's typical.
This is supposed to be education.
Right. So we're gonna look at the dictionary, right? Since you want to appeal to it so much, you see that?
No, I already appealed to it.
Oxford language is right there, right? So trans man. So we're gonna read this: a person who was registered as female at birth, but who lives and identifies as a man, a transgender man, right? So,
let me read that. Hold on.
Same logic. We're going to use that same logic, right? Whenever when we're talking about trans women,
a person,
and it's going to be the same logic, right? Great.
I don't follow that definition, buddy.
Oh. No, you don't follow definitions.
Y'all realize what I'm doing to y'all, right?
I thought we were.
Y'all don't even realize what I'm doing.
It's so funny, Brandon. Hold on. No, Brandon, no, you're losing. It's so funny that
you don't even realize what I'm doing.
It's so funny that you're using the Oxford definition to define a woman or to define a female, but then as soon as Isaac shows you the same source that you used to define a woman as a trans man, you're saying I don't believe that. So do you believe Oxford or not? Are you just cherry picking which definitions you're choosing, or what are you doing?
Wait, so you believe all Oxford definitions are right?
Again,
I'm sorry. Definitions aren't. Definitions aren't propositional, right? They're not propositional.
I got you there, buddy. I got you
there. Simply things to tie concepts to words. So they're not propositional. There's no truth. There's no truthhood or falsehood to definitions.
Oh,
okay.
Right.
Do you want to play?
Gave you my definition of a
do you want to play a game, Brandon?
You disagreed with me. So
do you want to play a game?
Yeah, we can reject definitions.
Do you want to play a game?
Yeah, let's play a game.
Okay, I'll make a deal with you. I will end my lie. Well, actually, maybe I should do that because there actually is something that you could actually defeat me on if you're smart. Let's play a game. I bet that you don't know what a woman is.
What a woman is?
Yes, that's the bet.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So here's the game.
Do you know what a woman is?
I do. Yes.
Can you tell me?
Yeah, I can. But we're playing a game right now. So I'm going to ask you very specifically for something. I want you to listen very carefully because people don't listen to this question very seriously. You have to listen to the words that I'm saying out of my mouth. Give me the necessary and sufficient conditions to being a female. So before you answer, don't jump to an answer. I want you to think very carefully. In order for this to be classified as female, every single female has to share this on this planet. So if there's 1 million females on the planet that have this condition, but this one doesn't have this condition, then it doesn't work. It has to be universal.
By whom? Do you know what denotion is?
I do know what denotion is. So I want you to give me one sufficient condition to being a female. Just give me one. I'm not asking for 5. I just want 1.
The denotion to bear offspring.
Yeah, that's so. Hold on. So if there was like 50 if there was like 50 women who didn't have the ability to bear offspring, how would you know if you're being able to denote to bear offspring?
Well,
Like, how do you know that if you're like the last 50 women on Earth, and you are unable to bear offspring?
well,
To indicate, right? To denote is to indicate. So what if they don't have the ability to bear offspring? How would they know that they are denoting to bear offspring?
well, because they know, because the way they were born, they have a defect of not being able to.
It's just atypical.
They still denoted it, right?
It's atypical. No. So we're just talking about like there's like 50 women left on Earth, and they do not have the ability to bear offspring. So how would they know that they can denote to bear offspring if they have the inability to bear offspring?
If they have the inability to bear offspring.
Yes.
Is what you're asking?
Yes.
But how would they know?
Yeah. How would they know if they're denoting to bear offspring?
Well, because when you're born a female, right? Mm-hmm. You denote that they are able to bear offspring. Because
how would we see that?
Because time and time again, someone who is born with that denotion, right, which is a female, they're born with a denotion to bear offspring, but sometimes they can't because of a defect.
You keep saying the same words over and over, but you're not telling me how would they know that they're able to denote to bear offspring if they cannot bear offspring? Like there's nothing denoting that they can bear offspring.
No, there is.
What?
Their organs.
Which organs?
You got your all the sexual reproduction organs.
Name them.
So you mean you list all the sexual reproduction organs?
Yeah. How would a female know that they would be denoting to bear offspring? Like what are we looking at?
You got like fallopian tubes, you got ovaries, you got your uterus.
Mm-hmm. So MRKH syndrome, women can be born without any of those things.
Okay.
So that would not be a necessary condition to being a female. So that would exclude them from the game.
Right.
So what's the next one?
Right. So they can have a defect where they don't have those things, right? But
so it would be atypical.
You can't be born without any of those.
Yeah. Yes, you can.
You name a case where someone was born without ovaries, without fallopian tubes, without uterus, without
MRKH syndrome. You can be born without all of them.
They just have no sexual reproduction organ. They're just completely blank.
Correct.
Right. So, how often has that ever happened before? Is there a case?
It's not very common, but it happens. MRKH syndrome.
Is there like a case?
MRKH syndrome?
MRKH syndrome?
MRKH, yes. But can you give me something like another like necessary and sufficient condition to being a female?
So it's a disorder that mainly affects female reproduction organs. They still have the
Keep reading.
reproduction organs, right?
Keep reading.
Yeah.
Keep reading. I know the definition you're looking at, but keep reading.
What do you mean keep reading? What?
Okay, cool. So now you're being disingenuous because you know the rest of that says you can be born without a uterus.
What? Wait,
Yeah.
born without really?
Yeah. Okay, what's the next sufficient and necessary condition? I'm excited about this. So you should be able to, Brandon. This should be so easy for you because you know what a woman is.
There's no such thing as someone who isn't born without all your sexual reproduction.
Yep.
There's no such thing to that, right? So
MRKH syndrome. Give me something else, Brandon.
I just gave you one. That's good. So
You're incorrect.
Because that's literally in the definition. Because the notes.
You are incorrect.
Oh, okay. How am I incorrect?
MRKH syndrome.
Yep.
You can be born without any of this of the reproductive organs, all of them.
You cannot. There's never been a case of that.
I don't know how to. I know you're being disingenuous, but give me something else.
No, but there isn't though.
You think reproductive hold on? You think a woman? The only thing that makes up a woman is her reproductive organs? That's the only thing that a woman is.
The only thing that makes up a male is his reproduction organs. So yes.
You think that's all that it makes up to be a woman?
And a man is a.
Yikes! That's a very simplistic, like first grader, like viewpoint.
An adult female. So, but a female is their sexual reproduction organs, right?
I'm surprised you haven't given me anything else that makes up a woman.
I'm not going to give you anything else because that's what it is, right? It's a denotion to bear offspring.
Yeah. So I'm going to read the thing that you didn't finish the actual definition. MRKH syndrome is a rare conjugal reproductive disease in women defined as underdeveloped or non-existent uterus and vagina. Non-existent.
Uterus and vagina. I'm not talking about just uterus and vagina. And that woman, a female, just doesn't have a uterus or a vagina. That does not.
So there's a lack. So you won't have a menstrual period if you have MRKH syndrome.
That's not what being a female is.
Hold on. You can literally not have any sort of reproductive organs.
All your reproductive organs are gone. You're just a subliminal space object floating in space. That's
literally what MRKH syndrome can produce.
You can't. I guarantee you can't name a case with someone with zero reproductive organs. That is a special.
They're not going to. Are you looking for someone's name?
I'm looking for a specific case of this happening because this is just a magic.
I just think it's funny that you don't even know what you can't even give me like a necessary condition to being a woman, and I'm giving you cases.
You still haven't proven me how that's not a necessary condition.
You're just very disingenuous.
No, I'm not.
Like it's not my fault. You don't know what MRKH syndrome is.
The only thing you can bring up is MRHK syndrome.
Because that's what we're talking about.
Yes, right. Yes, but that doesn't mean they have zero sexual reproductive organs. If that's what being able to demote to have offspring is having the sexual reproduction organs. That's what sex means.
They don't have them.
Yes, they do.
Go ahead, Isaac. Did you want to say something?
I was just also going to bring up like the vaginal agenesis as well, since he's like trying to talk about all of the typically expected typical features of the female body. But yeah, so there's MRKH, there is vaginal agenesis, and several other types of intersex conditions in which one would not necessarily produce all of the things that you're saying are necessary to make someone female. What's really interesting though, Brandon, is that like for someone who's so hot and bothered by this, is that I actually have those conditions that Brandon's asking for. I have them. I'm not giving them to you though, because like I'm definitely gonna let you continue to flail a little bit more, considering you wanted to come up here being hella disingenuous. But I have them. But even though I have them, I do have those conditions, right? Guess what? Biological sex and gender are still not the same thing.
Right. So also, here's what's funny. Cervical agenesis, a condition that prevents the cervix from fully developing in the womb. Other reproductive organs may also be missing or smaller than usual. I said uterine agenesis, MRKH syndrome. These are all things that you can either have none or smaller than usual. They are not functional.
Let me help you a little bit here, right? So give me some time, right? So I'm going to take it slow here. So the definition of sex is these two categories. Wait.
Hold on. Are you taking the L on the game of you not knowing what a woman is?
No. Look, no. Let me finish. I'll let you talk for a long time.
No, you're pivoting.
Give me the same respect.
You're just pivoting, evil Brandon.
Give me the same respect.
Evil Brandon, you're just pivoting.
Humans, look, it's a male, right? A male and a female are two categories. That's a sex, right? Those are two categories of sex, which are the basis of their reproductive function.
Right. Yes. Right? Well, yes. Okay, really quickly before we move on, because you're just teaching us so much. I'm so excited to learn. Right. So so what is what is biological sex determined by?
Was biological sex determined by?
Yeah. What is it defined by?
Your biological sex is determined by your reproductive functions.
Reproductive functions. Can you be a bit more specific? What do you mean reproductive functions?
It's defined by your reproductive functions. It's literally what it is.
Yeah, no. So when we're talking about biological sex, yeah. No, I'm gonna teach you now. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Anyway, so when we're talking about biological sex, we're going to be referring to primarily denoting the ability to produce either small or large gametes. Small gametes are going to go to male people, and large gametes are going to go to female people. Now, I would love to continue to dog walk you, but I'm pretty sure Amber is going to do so much better of a job. Go ahead, Amber.
So, you keep pushing back, and yet you have people here that know exactly what they're talking about. Myself, I have 36 years of studying the biological sciences, and you keep flailing back and forth on these half notions that you actually, and congratulations, by the way, for graduating 7th grade biology. I think we're all commending you for that. But it's a lot deeper than that. So do you know how many females every year? Well, let's do it this way. Are there any females that are born without a uterus and a cervix? Ever?
Like hello, or
Did you get scared, hun? Are you here?
did we break the guest?
Evil Brandon.
Brandon, I know you're here. I see you. So are there any, I know you're trying to Google the shit out of this right now, but are there any females on the planet that
Oh
have
wait,
ever been born
Brandon says
without?
it won't let him speak. Hold on, Brandon. I'll drop you down and then just re-request. It might be a glitch or something.
Yeah, I was glitched out. Wait, Amber,
Oh, you're
what did you major in again? Sorry.
I said, do you know of any females on the planet that have ever been born without a uterus or a cervix?
Any females on the planet has ever been born without a cervix?
A cervix and a uterus.
Are those the only reproductive functions, though?
No, I'm asking you if there are any females that have ever been born devoid of a uterus and a cervix. Yes or no?
I guess, yeah, there could be, right?
All right, so the answer is 1.72 million every year. That's the size of Phoenix, Arizona every year.
But still doesn't prove the point that you can't denote with other sexual reproduction organs. So
what is it you're trying to assert?
If you don't have a uterus, you can't reproduce, Brandon.
Yeah,
Literally, you have to have a uterus to reproduce.
you can still have the functions to reproduce, but not be effective at it.
You
Right, so
can't.
hold
You
on.
don't have the functions if you don't have a uterus. The uterus is what holds everything. You understand that, correct?
You could still have organs meant to reproduce, but they don't
No,
work.
hold on, Brandon. Not Brandon. Yeah, it's Brandon. Wow,
That's
weird.
evil, Brandon. Good, Brandon.
All right, so let's say evil Brandon. So, you were already taught about MRKH, I think, right? Good Brandon.
I've heard of this many times before. I just forgot what MR8KH was. But when you bring it up, I remembered.
Okay, good. And you do understand that there are females that are devoid of ovaries, right? Do you know what ovaries are also?
I know what ovaries are, but they're not the only things that
Do
exist.
you know what do you know what they're known as? What's the name that we use in science for ovaries?
The name that we use in science for ovaries. So we're going to go to semantics, right?
No, it's not semantics. It's very important to the next thing I'm going to bring up.
It's important. Okay, so it's like eggs.
No, those are called gametes, right? Gametes, large.
They produce eggs, right?
They produce large gametes. They also produce, ovaries produce actually most of the estrogen in a woman's body, right?
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Yeah, I know that.
So they're called gonads for a female, right? So male gonads would be testes. 10 out of 10 guys get this wrong. You're probably the 10 out of 10. So, male gonads would be testes. Female gonads would be ovaries, right? So we have something in our brain, in our hypothalamus. We secrete a specific hormone called gonadotrophin releasing hormone. Right? I don't know if you've ever heard of this before, right? Have you? Yes? No? Because I don't want to go on some tangent that you're never going to get. Gonadotrophin.
Say it again. Sorry, say it again.
Gonadotrophin releasing hormone.
Gonadotrophin releasing hormones. Never heard of that.
No?
Nope.
Okay. So gonadotrophin releasing hormone, stimulates something called follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone, which produces in your testes testosterone, right? Your testes will also secrete a very minute amount of estrogen in the form of estradiol alpha or beta, right? And the only other place in the male that secretes estrogen is what?
The only way, sorry, say that. The male. I have ADHD.
In a male. I'm sorry, I don't mean to do that to you. In a male, where does a male produce, their estrogen, the predominant amount of estrogen? Where does that occur?
In their, I don't know. Can you tell me?
It's in the adrenal glands, just above the kidneys.
Okay.
And in a female, where do they get most of their testosterone?
Where do females get most of their testosterone? I don't know.
Same place, the adrenal glands. Okay, just above the kidneys. So a working understanding of the endocrine system is really important when we talk about these things, and then very, very important understanding of how genetics works, right? So would you say that all males are XY chromosomes? Let's start there with an easy one.
All males are XY chromosomes?
Yeah, are they?
Yeah.
No, they're not. So there's actually XY females.
Oh, so it's a spectrum, right?
So it's not so much a spectrum. It's that it's part of a DSD, right? Do you know what a DSD is?
DST, no.
DSD, right?
DSD.
Yeah, DSD is differences of sexual development, which is also known as intersex. So somebody can be intersex with XY chromosomes, but they are inherently female. The only thing that they are, as far as the reproductive tract is actually lacking, is they have underdeveloped ovaries. So we call them streak gonads. This is why it's important to understand what the word gonads means. So streak gonads are underdeveloped ovaries. You can't produce gametes or large gametes, which would be ova, eggs, if you have streak gonads. So somebody that has Swyer syndrome, SWYER, in case you want to look it up, those folks, those females can actually have a baby if they go through IVF, right? And vaginally give birth to the baby, right? So that can happen. Then you have XX, which is a very interesting one. Are all females XX?
Are all females? Well, by what you're saying, no.
Yeah. So we have XX male syndrome, right? Which is called De La Chapelle syndrome. Not to be confused with David.
So is that another form of intersex?
What?
Is that another form of intersex?
Yeah, that's another DSD. Correct. Yeah. So what I'm trying to get at is there is variation well beyond the combinations of permutations that you can count to, right? So combinations and permutations, it's a mathematical algorithm where you can count how often something is going to happen, because we understand sex to be multifactorial, right? Mm-hmm. And gender is the same way, right? So when we look at sex, being on a bimodal spectrum, right? So when we say bimodal, we say, yes, there is male and there's female. No question about it. But there's also these folks that have sex characteristics that fall in between the two. That's where it becomes bimodal, right? Those are the DSDs. So when they were asking you a question, they said, and good Brandon, ask the question one more time while I'm here, because I got here late.
Yeah, so the question was, what's the necessary and sufficient conditions to being a female? Like, universally, what does every single woman, every single female on this planet have? Like, what attribute do they all have? And I haven't heard one yet from Evil Brandon.
Well, I said sexual reproduction. I'm trying to catch up here, right? So obviously, Amber, you are more educated than me when it comes to biology and whatever. Like, you're right. Like, I did not take school for what you did, right? But so obviously you're way more educated, and I can't really debate that in depth of the definition of sex, right? So the reason, the way that I think of it, right, is basically the notion of sexual reproduction organs. And the reason why I disagreed with I'm just trying to understand better, right? So I'm not trying to be like, I'm just trying to.
You're fine. You're fine.
I'm giving you my argument, right? Which is the condition. What was the condition called again? Sorry.
For which one?
The one where they are born without sexual reproduction organs.
MRKH.
MRKH. Yes.
So the thing is that only contradicts my statement if there is a person on Earth, right, with MRHK syndrome, and they have lost all of their reproduction organs. Every single one of them are meant for reproduction functions. So I that's why how is that not right? That's what I'm trying to understand.
So, the human body is a complex set of systems that have to work in some sort of symbiotic relationship. And good Brandon, it's funny to say good Brandon, evil Brandon, and Avatar. Please unmute your mic, Avatar, because I think you should be part of this. And agree with me or add to what I'm about to say. The human body has a series of systems in it that have to work in a relatively organized way for certain functions to be carried out. And in fact, all humans, before they're born, go through these different sets of things. For example, in fetal development, we go through several different periods they're very incredibly important periods of sexual dimorphism. Do you know what that is, by chance? I don't want to lose
dimorphism? No, I do not know what that is.
Sexual dimorphism, you know what the prefix di means? Di, right? Two? It means two. Morphic means to differentiate male or female, right? So sexual dimorphism, meaning a sex characteristic that's going to differentiate male or female. An example of this is you have a phallus where a female will have a vagina, correct?
A female will have a vagina, yes.
Yeah, and a male will have a phallus, right? So males are always going to have a phallus. We know this, except for those that have, an agenesis where the phallus just is not there, right? So there are males that are born without certain sex characteristics that you would attribute to being part of that function. So when we see a female, for example, born without certain characteristics that help them in the reproductive tract, they are not capable of producing offspring, unfortunately. So when we see a woman without a uterus, this is why we've developed procedures now where a female can get, a woman, I should say, more directly, can get a uterine transplant. Have you heard of these?
Uterine transplant?
Mm-hmm. We've had about 14 of them, right? So we've had some successes with this.
Wait, so uterine transplant as in like actual functioning reproduction?
Taking a donor uterus and transplanting it into a female that does not have a developed uterus, yes.
Okay, so this is someone who's already why can't you do that with someone who's a male?
You can. In fact, in India, by the year 2030, they will be out of clinical trials, and the first transgender woman will be able to get a uterine transplant by about 2030 is when the trials will be over. My guess it's going to be more like 2032, but they're saying 2030. They're being optimistic. I'm not as optimistic as they are, but there is space inside of the male cavity for a uterus. So when we look at trans women really are women. We are born with characteristics that males just do not have attributable to them, right? So when we look at
all trans people are like that?
So the trans community is very large. There's no one definition, but people that have something called transsexuality, right? And this is something that occurs in utero in the second trimester of pregnancy. So first trimester of pregnancies, you get your reproductive organs and your genitalia, and they start differentiating. That's the first trimester, which is the first critical period of sexual dimorphism. You go into the second trimester, and you start to see the neurostructures actually start to differentiate. There's actually more, and I'll let Brandon and Avatar say yay or nay to what I'm about to say. There are more sex characteristics in the brain than there are anywhere else on the body.
Really? What attributes?
So there's sexually dimorphic structures in the brain. For example, the cortical regions of the brain, right? The gray matter versus the white matter, right? Males will have more gray matter than white matter. A female brain will be...
So that helps with sexual reproduction, or...
Well, there's one area that can be attributable to...
your sexual attraction, right?
No. I mean, now you're getting into sexual orientation, which is the purview of the what we have correlative data that suggests that the sexually dimorphic nucleus of the preoptic area is the supporting mechanism behind why you have sexual orientation, whether you're same-sex attracted or heterosexual, right, or asexual for that matter, because that's on a spectrum too, right? So most things in science you'll find are on a spectrum. They're not binary. People that don't take science like to dumb things down and say it's this or that. But there's very rarely any time in science where we see a this or a that.
Right. I always give the analogy of like if you like even evil Brandon, I think you even said that before. You said we can't put a umbrella term and say this is exactly how something must be because we know that atypical things exist. So my example is always like if you have 7 million green grapes in one hand and then one purple grape in another hand, you cannot say factually that only green grapes exist. You cannot say that. You have to say that purple grapes also exist. It just because it's not the majority, just because it's not the typical, the quote unquote typical, you cannot exclude the variants that happen. This is why when we say that, like the idea of like womanhood or manhood is a subjective experience because it goes everywhere. Like if I talk to 100 different cisgender women or 100 cisgender men and say, what's the experience of a man or a woman? You're all going to give me different definitions.
But isn't
there's actually a scientific reason for that, evil Brandon. There's actually a scientific explanation for what the not the dark side of the force Brandon said, right? So,
wait.
Let me
hold on. Wait, I actually want to ask something before y'all continue.
All right, I'm just going to give you all right, go ahead and ask, and then I'll give you a definition. Go.
Yeah, you said manhood, but doesn't that have to do with the period, it just being a man rather than a child?
Gender, right? So being a boy has similar traits to man, right? One is just a child and one is an adult, right? That's the main difference, right? But there are things that boys do that girls simply just are not interested in doing. Now, there's an overlap, there's intersectionality. Of course there is, right? It would be silly to say there isn't. But by and large, womanhood and manhood, right? We can denote this back to why do we have the word woman and why do we have the word female? Everybody likes to conflate these two words because they look at dictionaries. Do you know the one book that scientists don't use? Dictionaries, right? Because they're so rudimentary, right? So if you go into postgraduate school and they say, what is a woman? Like, they're never going to say that because that's a dumb question. It's going to go down in history as perhaps the dumbest question that's ever been asked that should have been put in the 2007 movie Idiocracy, because it's the dumbest question to ever be asked, because everybody's expecting this dumb, washed down version of what it is, an adult human female, right? And then those same people can't define female. So the reality is if you get put into postgraduate school and get asked what is a woman, and you say, oh, that's an easy one, an adult human female, and put that together, you're not going to get into college. I promise you that. That's actually putting my reputation on the line. I promise you won't get into that college because they want a 60,000 word essay, which is the size of a small book, to describe that. Now here's why. Because female and male talk about the biological traits and the sex characteristics of an individual. Can you agree with that?
Yep.
And when we talk about woman and man, it does still talk about biological aspects, but it adds so much more. For example, the psychological, sociological, cultural, and spiritual experiences of that lived condition as well. So there's so much more involved in that. We wouldn't have innovation, i.e. the cell phone you're holding in your hand, if we were just reduced down to our genitalia and reproductive organs, right?
Yeah, I agree with that, yeah.
So woman and female, while they have intersectionality, are different, just like sex and gender have intersectionality but are different. The intersectionality between sex and gender resides in the limbic system of the brain. There's actually a space in the brain, and all of this is correlative, right? It's not causal, it's correlative. The data suggest that there are endocrine, genetic, and neurophysiological features that contribute to the formation of gender identity in the second trimester of pregnancy, along with sexual orientation, because they're so closely related. So the part of the brain I'm talking about is within the hypothalamus. The hypothalamus is the size of an almond. It's so small, but without it, you would cease to exist. And within that is the most important sex characteristic that any human can have. It's the one that told you were a boy, when you were about 3 years old. I can promise you that 10 out of 10 people get this wrong. If I ask a guy, how did you know you were a boy right around 3 years old? And they go, I don't know, because of my penis. And I'd say, no, there's only one organ in your body that knows how to talk to you.
Well, if you're a boy, you don't really think of your penis like that, so yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of people misplace that by saying, yeah, because I have a penis and girls have a vagina, blah, blah, blah. They watched Kindergarten Cop too many times. So the reality is there's only one organ in the body that can actually speak to you, and that's the human brain. So that's going to disappoint a lot of guys, because a lot of guys think their penis talks to them, but it's just not true.
Damn it.
So in a nutshell, no pun intended again.
Oh God.
In a nutshell, what we're talking about here is there's structures in the brain that we have done studies on for about 30 years that show marked differences between a male BNST and a female BNST. What does that mean? The BNST is in a part of the hypothalamus. It's one of the nuclei. Do you know what a nucleus is? I just want to make sure that I don't mess you up here. It's not my intention.
I'm sorry?
It's not my intention to mess you up. Do you know what a nucleus is?
Yeah, so
It doesn't mean the center of a cell membrane. That's cellular biology. We like to screw at people in neurology. In neurology, it just means a bundle of neurons. All right, so track with it that way from now. So BNST stands for bed nucleus of the stria terminalis, but we're really concerned with just a piece of that, and we call that the central subdivision of the bed nucleus of the stria terminalis. Alongside of that, which by the way, it's called the extended amygdala, right next to it, there's something called the third interstitial nucleus. What?
Oh, my dog. I accidentally hit my dog.
Oh, so the third interstitial nucleus of the anterior hypothalamus. Now, these words are like word salad. So to make the audience happier and to make you happier, I'll just say that the third interstitial just simply means the space in between nuclei. So interstitial, in between. Third, there's six interstitial nuclei in the hypothalamus. We're only concerned with the third one, right? So the third interstitial nucleus, bundle of neurons of the anterior, which means front of, hypothalamus, right? That's all that means. It's just Google Maps for a neuroscientist. So I just made that whole word a lot easier for you to understand. Yeah. So when we look at the BNST under a microscope in postmortem studies...
Oh, I'm sorry. Taz, I did not abuse my dog. I just bumped the fridge onto him on accident.
No, just ignore the comments.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. So the last thing I'll say is that when we talk about the BNST, there's fMRI studies, that's functional MRI studies for people that are alive, and then there are post-mortem studies where we'll do studies like spot blot studies and protein studies and neuron studies, etc. There's all these different studies, but to look at the structure itself, we do something called a spot blot. And what we do is we take a medial dissection of the brain through the sagittal fissure. That's that line that separates your left and right hemisphere in your brain, if you look at a brain. And we go down through the corpus callosum and split the brain in half. That exposes the hypothalamus. We can actually take a sliver of that, put it on a slide, add a contrasting agent, and what we'll see is that the male BNST is very elongated, and it has densely populated neurons in it. In the vascular region, the blood supply surrounding it is very large. But in a female, the BNST is very small and very compact, like smushed a little bit. And it is sparsely populated with neurons, and the vascular region surrounding it is a lot smaller. And we see this in the development of gender identity, where we can say yes, here's a female who says they are a girl, and here's what the BNST looks like. It tracks. Here's a male who says he's a boy, and there's what the BNST looks like, very large. Yes, that tracks. Now let's take a transgender woman and put her into the mix. And what we do is we take 5 subgroups, control groups. We'll take a transgender woman who has not yet started HRT, hormone replacement therapy, because hormone replacement therapy will affect the structure of the BNST. It'll actually make it more pronounced, right? So we want to make sure that we're not affecting that. So we will get subjects that donate their bodies to science that never have been on hormones, right? And what we see is that it tracks. So here's a male, somebody that was assigned male at birth, and they say, no, I'm a girl. And then later in life, no, I'm a woman. And it seems to track because we see that it's smaller and it's not densely populated with neurons. It's sparsely populated, but it also has almost its own definition. There's male, there's female, and there's transgender. But the BNST of a transgender woman looks closer in its morphology to that of a cisgender woman than a man. In other words, if I were to break this down in easy layman terms, the BNST of a transgender woman would be in Baltimore, Maryland, and the BNST of you, evil Brandon, would be in south of the airport in San Diego. That's about 3,300 miles away, right? So it's a vast difference in the way that they look. And in neurology, we study structure, function, and behavior of the brain and of other things, of the spinal column, everything, right? So it's more than just the brain, right? So in this example, it's about structures within the brain, which there are a multitude of those structures.
Right. So just to summarize here, because obviously I'm not like, I'm not going to be fully on the same intellectual level when it comes to this topic, right? I'm a computer programmer, not a biologist. But
actually, I was a computer programmer.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
C++ and C#, all that stuff, Java.
Yeah, I do video game development and all that. But so what I'm trying to get at here, right? So I can get like a basic summary definition is that your brain is structured upon like your brain doesn't work just based off of your neurons, but mostly also off of your structure of your brain, right? Is what you're trying to tell me?
Well, your structures are comprised of neurons as well.
Okay. Yeah, so it's neurons, but it also has to do with your structure, right? Your structure makes up your thoughts, your feelings, when
we're talking about thoughts and feelings, we're talking about specific structures in the brain, in the limbic system, because the limbic system is actually that part of the brain. It's the fastest part of the brain where emotions are actually part of that purview. So the hypothalamus actually does have emotional regulation, just like the amygdala and stuff like that. If somebody's ever experienced stage fright, we get something called amygdala hijacking. And that'll affect your entire brain and your entire body because hormones will be released and what'll happen is you'll freeze in place. People that forget their lyrics will freeze in place. Their heart rate will increase. They'll become flush in the face. They'll become hot. They will actually start shaking. Their hands will visibly start to shake. And if they know exercises and breathing to get them back in the right place, because this all involves the vagus nerve as well. If we can get ourselves back into homeostasis at that point, we can actually control that amygdala hijacking, get right on point, and start singing that song right away. Right? Yeah. I don't want to eat up all the time. So, you guys take over. I mean, I'm just here to help.
I tried to gather everything you said. I mean, I just, it was a lot. All right. But, yeah.
But do you understand, like, when you're making an umbrella term that trans women cannot be women, with all of the science that we have, all the studies we have, all the peer-reviewed articles, empirical data we have, we cannot say that, because being a woman is many different things, many different. You're looking at like the baseline, which is typically females will have these organs. Typically, females will have the ability to reproduce. That doesn't make you a female. That doesn't make you a woman. Like you're making like these like umbrella claims, like it has to apply to every single person. And what we're saying is this is experience can mean something different to every single woman on the planet, but you can't invalidate someone because of what? Like genitalia, which we already went over, like agenesis, like Amber was saying, like vaginal agenesis exists. We can't say that in order to be a woman you have to have a vagina. We can't say these like overarching terms that would disqualify women.
One caveat to the word female, right? So when we define female, we can legitimately say of or denoting, keyword being denoting, of or denoting the sex that can bear offspring or produce large gametes. We can say that about females. And the reason we can say that is because of the word denoting, which means indicate, right?
Yeah.
So that opens the door pretty wide. It doesn't close the door. That one word opens up all these possibilities that good Brandon's been talking about.
Okay. So that's back to where we left off. Okay, I see what you mean now. It's interesting. I mean, I learned more about biology talking to you, so it's pretty cool.
Amber is super smart.
Yeah, I can tell. But see, what I don't understand, right, is when they talk about the denotion, right, which indicates, right, something that indicates, right. If you indicate that you have these sexual reproduction organs, which is, I think, before we had the invention of, like, or before we learned all these scientific discoveries back then, there was the only way we can tell someone's sex was basically based off of what we see about them, right? Which is, their sexual reproduction organs, which is their vagina or whatever, right? And I think what it is that I'm failing to understand because throughout history, sex was never that deep, right? It was just based off of what you actually are, right? Or just based off what you're born with, right?
Well, that's not true. Like trans people have existed from the beginning of time. Trans people have always been here. You're starting to hear about it more because it's becoming more societally accepted, but that doesn't mean that it didn't exist. Just because you didn't know about it or we didn't learn about it in schools. Like I'm with you on these things. Like I learned in schools that there's either XX or XY. That's all I learned about. And that's on our actual education system. We're like, has to be XX or XY. There's 16 different sex chromosome variations. We don't learn about those. Why? Like we're undereducating these kids, and then what happens is people like me and people like you we grow up and we're like, wait, there's XX and XY. What are you talking about? There's not more, because I learn in classroom settings like XX and XY is the only like variations that exist. And I was like, okay. And I believed it because that's just like the basic knowledge. But that is like, again, that's the typical. You have to learn about all the variations. There's 16 different sex chromosomes that it could possibly be. So I get where you're coming. I get where a lot of people are coming from, because I was very undereducated on these matters too, because of our failing education system, because we do not include it, because I don't know why. We censor these things out of history and science and literature. I don't get why we're doing it. We're doing a disservice to people because we don't know about these things, but they exist.
26 years ago, our idea of what male and female is vastly different than what we know now. Mostly because of the tomography we use and the new studies, because science is the best explanation I've ever heard in my life, and I use every day of my life, is science is like going swimming in the ocean. We start out swimming on the top of the ocean and we can see down maybe to our toes. And then we put on snorkel gear and we start snorkeling, and then we dive down maybe 20 feet and come back up, right? And then we exchange that for scuba gear and we dive even deeper, right? But we can only go so far. So what do? We hop inside a small submarine and we go even deeper to explore deeper down in the ocean. And then that can only go so far without imploding. So we get into a freaking nuclear sub and go way deeper, right? So it's all about deeper and deeper science, right? So we start out at the surface, which is what you've learned in school, and surface is still what you learned in junior college. Bio 1 and Bio 2, believe it or not, is surface-oriented biology. You've not yet put on the snorkel gear yet. So once you get past those, then you start getting the snorkel gear, doing a deeper dive, and that's when you get into the different disciplines. For example, epidemiology, endocrinology, right? Neurophysiology, neuroanatomy, neuroendocrinology, all the different sciences, the disciplines of the biological sciences. So there's a plethora of them. So that's why we have PCPs, right? We have the primary care physician, and then we have, hey, you have a heart issue going on here, go see a cardiologist. Or you have a lung issue going on here, go see a pulmonologist. Or you have a tumor, perhaps, go see an oncologist. Or you have a blood disorder, see a hematologist. So we have all these disciplines because each one of those is so unbelievably complicated. And so that's why everybody in the sciences will say, Neil deGrasse Tyson will tell you this. Out of all of the sciences, the one that he loathes the most because it's so complicated is not astrophysics or physics, it's biology, because biology is so complex and the dive gets so deep, right?
I agree with that. Yeah, I've heard about that. I heard him say that. Yeah, biology is like one of the most it's just we still don't understand what biology is. We're still discovering biology.
But people in the comments say, "Oh, it's simple biology." Those are people that actually show me that they've never taken biology in their life. If you say biology is, oh, it's just simple biology, that tells me you've never taken biology. So, these are like little word snippets that folks like us can look at and say, yeah, they're not ready for this course, Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not religious or anything, and I love science, so like I do like hearing about these type of things. But yeah, I do know about the whole biology being extremely complex compared to our computers. Like a human brain is like more powerful than all the supercomputers combined on Earth. It's just our biology is way more powerful than our discoveries that we've made so far. We still have a lot to learn, which I agree with, right? But I think what I was looking at more from the perspective of is that. I think more of my perspective was, whenever I would agree that you could actually have multiple, you could actually, have a gender identity, right? And your gender identity didn't actually matter. I think it was more, I understood that people had gender identity. I understood people had this gender dysphoria and stuff like that, right? I think more of it was just if that gender identity is where it came from, where their gender identity came from. I haven't dug down that deep. I only knew people are having this certain condition, right, where they are feeling a certain type of way, and they do something that isn't what I've been taught or what I've learned, and I just go into denial. I'm like, okay, what is it then, right? And I think so. I think the only way to disprove it to me is if there's actually a male who is someone who's born a male and has male reproduction organs. You remove their male reproduction organs and you put on female reproductive organs and you give them a baby, right?
Well, I mean, you're still confusing sex and gender, and this is why we're doing deeper investigational studies into where does the formation of gender identity actually happen. We don't have causal, we have correlative data that suggest there's three different areas that are involved in that, but we don't have any causal information, just like we don't have causal information for Alzheimer's, dementia, MS, multiple sclerosis, and all these different conditions that exist in the medical sciences. You'd be hard pressed to find any that have causation to them. We know how to treat them in most cases. Some of them, the treatments are good, some of them not so good, right? We have a cure rate for some diseases, right? Like childhood leukemia. We don't know the mass underpinnings of childhood leukemia because there's so many different instances of it, and they're still scratching their heads onto, wow, there's so many ways this seems to be manifesting. Where can we draw that line in the sand to say, here is the cause? But we can cure or put into remission about 82% of it, which is interesting. Yeah. And the only way to do that is to poison the body. That's the sad part of it. So, yeah, I hope that we helped you here tonight. And I see Demi is here, so that's wonderful.
Yeah. I mean, I obviously, you're one person telling me this, right? And I'm going to take you up on your word. I'm going to go and do my more research on what you're talking about.
Right. Start with the BNST. That's one of the correlative parts of all this. But just remember, transgender is an umbrella term, and there's no one definition for it. There are people in a transgender community, for example, people that are indigenous, for example, which I'm not going to speak to, but those folks, which used to be, North America used to be something called Turtle Island. There were over 150 tribes of indigenous people that lived here before we got here, and they had a third gender, And a lot of that was cultural in nature. That isn't to say that some of those individuals were not like me, right? Trans like myself. But there was a cultural aspect to it, which is spiritual in nature. And then there are actually other cultures around the world that we have 7,000 years of written language discussing these different genders and people that are not what we attribute to being non-binary, trans, and intersex being depicted in as early as ancient cuneiform, ancient Samaria, etc., Mesopotamia, ancient India, right? All these areas. So literally all around the world. 7,000 years, that's a hell of a long time before even most of the, any of the Abrahamic religions came around, right?
Yeah. Abraham religions, I'm guessing, are the common ones like Muslim, Christianity,
Judaism, Christianity, and Islam.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right,
You said you were a game designer, right?
Game developer, programmer.
Game developer, programmer.
Yeah.
Never went that route. Did my own programming for different reasons within the military.
Yeah.
But avid video gamer. I guess one of the big things that I love when somebody talks video games or even just mentions it, because the concept behind biology, the concept behind human beings, if we treated learning more about human beings, if we stunted our knowledge and said, nope, we know everything, we're not going to dive deeper, to me that would be the same way as if you were playing an Atari 7600 or a regular Nintendo and you said, yep, this is the pinnacle of graphics, and never tried to push forward with learning more and seeing how to improve it. So we have come so far that
analogy.
There are certain video games that I look at, specifically the sports games, that I have to do a double look or a triple look to make sure it's not a real live game on TV. My father loves sports games, and I'm like, wait a minute, are you watching or playing? Yeah. Literally can't tell the difference. And now if we had been like some people try to be about the understanding of transgender individuals or the understanding of intersex or the understanding of the neuroscience behind transgender individuals or everything else that Amber talked to you about, like I don't have to do much because Amber went into a deep dive on it, and that's usually where I come from. If we tried to literally stop video games the same way people are trying to stop the study about what it is to be intersex, what it is to be transgender, what it continuing to look into the cures and understanding of or not cure for autism. I was thinking, God, Amber, you just said it in my brain like fried. Losing your mind. I lost my grandmother to it. You literally
dementia.
Yeah, but that's not the word I'm looking for. It basically Alzheimer's. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, like, if we as a society just stop trying to move, I'm sorry, it is a little after 2 a.m, and my brain's not firing on all cylinders right now. So I do apologize. Bear with me. But this is why I find science fascinating. This is why I find string theory fascinating, mathematics, biology, due to the fact that I'm intersex. That was one of the big things that got me into biology, because at 25 years old, I found out my chromosomes are not what the typical standard should be. They're not the XY that everybody assumed they would be, because I presented a little more phenotypically male. I found out I had different chromosomes, and I was like, this isn't possible. My doctor made a mistake.
Oh,
no,
so
they didn't make a mistake. I just have different chromosomes.
Oh, so you did a study on you did a test with your chromosomes, right? Yeah,
so I got karyotype. So when I was in the military, I fell off a truck and landed on my spinal cord. They were doing MRIs and CAT scans to make sure that I didn't damage anything else, because I had ended up fracturing my left femur. So from about my knee all the way up to my mid-chest, they were doing scans to make sure that I didn't damage anything or hurt internal organs. What they found was not something they were planning on finding. I have ovaries within my body. So they were like, okay, do you want to do a karyotype test? I was like, well, it's on the military's dime. Sure, I'll do a karyotype test. I didn't have a fucking clue what it was. I figured it was just like another blood panel testing for X, Y, or Z. No, so I found out my chromosomes are 46XX/47XXY, which is a very, very complicated and very rare version, a chromosomal
Compilation, yeah.
compilation. I cannot speak tonight. I should just go back down in the comments.
This is why I didn't have you up. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Wow.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Okay, Brandon, I got words for you later.
Oh, I'm excited.
But no, this is why I want to see, even now with the video games that we have, I want to see the next advancement with the hard drives we have. At one point in time, we thought a gig was massive, and now we have terabytes within the house. Never mind what they have within servers and supercomputers and everything else. What is the next stage of what we're going to find? So I look at biology, I look at neurology the same way. Is what is the next thing that we are going to find? What is the next thing we're going to pinpoint? Because it wasn't so long ago that we couldn't, and Amber said this eloquently, causation versus correlation. We could draw correlation to why individuals had red hair. We never had the causation. We only found that within the last 50 years.
Yep.
Right. So, forgot to say thank you for your service, by the way. So.
Oh, thank you. And the last thing I wanted to add, because my brain just caught up, is when Amber was talking about the brain thing and making that, you brought up you were a computer person. So I was in the comments, I was like, well, connect it to computers. You have a Mac OS. You have you have Windows, and then somewhere leaning in the middle, you have a customized Linux device. Whether you made a Linux hybrid out of a Mac OS or you made a Linux hybrid out of a Windows OS, it leans in one direction or another. That is what we're seeing with our current understanding behind transsexual brains. Is they're kind of their own unique thing, but they lean in the direction of the gender identity of that individual.
Yeah.
Yep. And then of course all of this leads to the therapeutics, which would be the new Unreal Engine that came out.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, it's so good.
No more polygons, yay. All right, so
yeah.
Well, it's not only the I'm sorry, I'm going to derail the whole topic if you bring this up. It's not only the polygons, but it's literally the floor mapping. The new Unreal Engine and floor mapping is so smooth.
All right, we're done.
So they have,
I don't even play video games. I mean, my video games goes up to Galaga. That's it. Pac-Man and Galaga.
Hey, Galaga's a good game.
Yeah,
they have better functionality with parallel threads, so that's pretty good too.
Oh, that's not.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I know everybody's saying words right now, but I don't know what words we're saying.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to just agree.
I would love to see us move to a time where we currently have an understanding that there's, quote, 3 ways to understand sex. You have your phenotypical, you have your genotypical, and you have neurotypical sex. You have, again, this was explained to you. Phenotypical is the basis of what you can see, and this is like slimmed down and super simple to understand. What you can see, you have your genotypical, which is going to be your chromosomal variations, and then you're going to have your neurotypical sex, which 2 of these we don't see with the naked eye, so we look at phenotypical sex. Would I love to see down the road is, they, I don't know, put you in a tube or they run a blood test or whatever it may be, and they go, yep, you're phenotypically this, you're genotypically this, and you're neurotypically this. Like, they can see it. We can just flat know that. I would also love to see that just because it costs more money to not go through life for 25 years not knowing I'm intersex when that can cause medical complications. Not in every situation, but I think doing a karyotype on a child outside of the fact of, oop, they have ambiguous genitalia, let's do a karyotype on them.
Right.
It should be a standard of practice, yet we don't do it. We judge someone's sex and and I will say this, and now it has a high percentage of being true, but we make a guesstimate on someone's sex, whether their phallic member down there is over, I think it's 2 centimeters. If it's bigger than 2 centimeters, you're this. If it's smaller than 2 centimeters, you're this.
Yeah, a lot of intersex individuals, we don't know if they're intersex. So we don't actually have the actual number of intersex individuals because many times we won't even know until after they unalive that we will do these testing. We're like, oh, wait, this person was intersex. Or like Demi said, if there's some reason that they have to get like karyotype, they'll find out much later in life that they're intersex. Like when they're born, sometimes people don't know. Like the doctors won't be able to tell that they're intersex, and we're just misclassifying people like instantly, and just they're living their entire life as one thing because based off of outward like based off of outward like phenotypical characteristics, and we just can't do that with anything else in biology. Like if someone's experiencing depression, there's not necessarily an outward. Like you can't walk up to someone and say, you have depression, you don't have depression. Like you can't look at the outward physical. Sometimes it's internal. There's like internal and external that we have to look at. We can't just look at like, oh, well, this person is externally this, so that's what they are. That's not how we do things. Like that's not how everything is always classified.
That's true.
Also, you were asking for a case where somebody doesn't have a Wolffian structure. Do you know what that means?
A Wolffian structure? Is that like absolutely no reproductive?
So Wolffian structure is in reference to the reproductive organs that you have. It's your Wolffian pathways. So this was what I was trying to bring up, because just vaginal agenesis or just MRKH syndrome, I actually agree with you. I don't know of a single case with that sole thing, but I did find a very nice piece from Boston Children's Hospital. About 7 to 8% of patients with vaginal agenesis have a less common condition in conjunction with this called AIS, which is androgen insensitivity syndrome. Mm-hmm. These patients have a normal female appearance. I hate the fact they use the word normal, but anyway, but lack a vagina, cervix, uterus, fallopian tubes, and ovaries. So yes, there are cases where individuals just do not have the Wolffian pathways and do not have any of the things. This does not make them any less of a girl or a woman if that is their gender identity along with their sex.
Yeah, because most people with MRKH, by the way, they don't have a fully developed uterus or a vagina, but most of the cases that I've read on, they do have ovaries and external genitalia that are typically...
Yeah, MRKH will have fallopian tubes and ovaries on average. It's usually individuals with a combination of syndromes, which is probably roughly like this one is roughly 7 to 8. I say under 10% of having a second syndrome on top of the first syndrome, which can cause the complication of not having anything down there, or a vast majority of other things. Like, for example, I have asthma, plus I have sarcoidosis. Not sarcoidosis. Sorry, that's the wrong one. That's the one they're actually testing me for now. Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. Both of these affect affect areas within my chest and my flexibility. But because I have Ehlers-Danlos type 2, type 7, the cardiovascular valves that go to my heart have the possibility of collapsing. Yeah. So I have a combination of syndromes, which is why it was very important to find out that I was intersex, and I wish I found out much earlier, because they were able to catch a couple of things that, because of my intersex condition, also work in tandem to be not beneficial, harmful to my body with Ehlers-Danlos. So knowing all of these things is a good thing. Again, why science needs to ever be evolving, because what they told me as a child, they didn't treat for Ehlers-Danlos as a child for me. They just said I was double jointed or I had long ligaments. They just dismissed it like it was nothing, and I was damaging my body.
Real quick, Eddie, how old are you? Eddie, you're on mute.
Eddie, hi. Hi, Eddie.
Hello. Eddie said.
So can I call you Jedi Brandon and Sith Brandon?
Yes, I actually prefer that. That's actually. But Brandon, thank you for having a conversation with us. I appreciate the back and forth.
Yep. All right. See you, man.
Brandon, I
Yep,
hope
have a
I
good one.
helped, fun. Take care.
Eddie wants to talk to Amber. I'm sorry, Eddie. How old are you?
28.
You want to talk to Amber?
Yeah.
Hi, Eddie. How are you?
You're intersex?
No, not at all.
Okay, what are you?
I'm a human. What are you?
Ew, don't. Why are you saying it like that?
Are you a
Okay.
human?
What is your pronouns?
My pronouns is she, her, him.
She, her? Okay. Do you have a problem, host?
Are you in the community, Eddie?
Yes.
Yeah, I do have a problem with you.
Okay, why?
Are you, what are you? Are you trans? Are you gay?
Hell no.
Oh,
What?
hell no. So you're LGBT, but not the T, right?
Nope.
What are you? Are you straight, heterosexual, Eddie?
No. Hell no.
So are you non-heterosexual?
Yes.
So you're
are
gay.
you gay or what are you? Do you know what these
Asexual.
words- do you know what these words mean?
I don't think so, but okay.
We're throwing words at you, and I'm wondering if you understand what they mean.
I'm gay.
Okay, that's fine. So, what is your question you had for me, hon, without getting personal?
Okay. You're she, her, right?
I said without getting personal. Yeah, what do you want to know?
Okay. Without getting personal.
Yeah,
What does
you
that
can ask
mean?
questions about science or about how people develop or anything. There's a million ways you can ask questions without
Okay.
to my parents.
All right. I
Because I'm not
understand.
really interested in you.
No,
guys.
I understand. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you believe that male people?
Can I set an expectation for us? I never say I believe, I think, I feel. And I never say in my opinion. Those four things will never come out of my mouth. Brandon will attest to that. I don't
It's your
use those words.
feelings. It's all right, whatever.
Yeah. No, it's not
Male?
whatever. I'm setting an expectation for you, sweetheart. So let's move on.
Don't roll your eyes. you
I'm going to
little
roll my
bitch.
eyes this entire. Just know if you hear that sound, that's my eyes rolling this entire conversation.
Also, I really don't want to really don't want to gloss over the fact. What the heck does it matter whether Amber's intersex or not? By the way, I'm the intersex individual.
I
Why
heard
was that the first
intersex.
question out of your
Sorry.
mouth?
So what is
Why
your
was
question,
that the
Eddie?
first question?
No.
All right, so go ahead. What's your question then?
Okay, finally.
Can you ask it, or do you want like a drum roll?
Can I
Drum roll.
just
Should
simmer
we
into
alert?
it?
Should we alert the press, or?
You know what? Do some trills on your piano for him.
Oh yeah, where's my piano?
Yeah.
Where's it at?
Okay, get your piano.
Yeah, I don't think you want to know the song I would play for
Eddie,
you.
you
But
said,
can you
do
just go?
I believe.
Okay,
Do I
anyway.
believe?
Anyway,
Do I
anyway.
believe? Do I
Okay.
believe? Go. Do I
Oh my
believe?
god. I can't even talk.
Well, I
Land.
noticed
This
that.
is the plane. Let's land. Let's land it. Let's land it.
Okay. Okay, since you guys want to talk about trans issues, do males,
Which one, man or males?
males,
Okay.
You're almost there.
Are you pausing for effect?
I'm pausing because of the hand.
Can you land the fucking plane? I beg of you.
No, because I like that you're playing.
Okay, don't hit on me, Eddie. Can we just can you land the plane?
Oh no, you're not my type. First of all, okay.
Brandon, can
I'm
you play
everyone's type.
American Idiot?
No, not me.
Eddie, we're going to give you 5 seconds to actually ask the
Okay,
question.
anyway, okay, like seriously.
4, 3.
Okay,
Two.
so do you think males have to compete with women, females, in sports?
Are you going to defend your position if I say yes?
Yes.
And is it going to take 7 hours for you to defend your position?
No, I'm saying it because you have this attitude.
Let's do a
That's
speed
why.
round. Eddie, let's do a speed round. Okay? So what is a trans woman? Go. Quick.
A person, a female that believes
No.
she's a man.
Jesus loves
trans
me,
woman.
this I know.
A trans woman is somebody assigned male at birth that has the gender identity of female and says they are woman, right? So they identify with the female sex and they are classified as woman, not as man, right? So trans women in sports competing
I can
against
tell you're a male.
No, you can't.
Yes, by your voice.
No, actually, my aunt has a deeper voice than me. Miley Cyrus has a deeper voice than
You
me.
have a slang.
No, you know what it is? You know what it is, sweetheart?
Shut the fuck up. Don't
You know
roll
what it
your
is?
eyes.
You're about to
bitch.
get dropped. You're all right. Bye, Eddie. Bye.
Eddie.
Dick.
Let's just tone down. Let's just tone it down.
Don't roll your eyes.
I know. Your emotions are hard to control. I get it. Do you want to just lose this argument, or do you actually want to have a
You
discussion?
guys think
Eddie, what is
a woman is a
HRT?
man, first of all.
Eddie, what is HRT?
HRT.
Brandon, give me my
I'm gonna
mod
walk
abilities
you.
back.
We don't think that women are men.
Honey, I'm going to walk you in less than 45 seconds because we don't want to ruin Brandon.
Hey, he's gonna kick me.
Brandon is losing followers because of, people in his
You
viewpoint.
guys didn't even have any followers.
So listen to me carefully, Eddie. What does HRT stand for?
I told you I don't know.
Right, it's hormone replacement therapy. What does a trans woman do when they start HRT, hormone replacement therapy? What happens?
I have no idea.
gotta go.
W Brock in the chat.
Thank you guys, rock. Whoever did that was wonderful.
That was Brock. W Brock.
So, also, can I just say you picked the worst time to pick up the sports topic? You have myself and Amber on the panel.
I know. I mean, if we had the whole Atlantic Ocean, you'd be bobbing like a bobber in it as we walk you around it.
Yeah, you were destined to lose that. I love that you wanted to talk to Amber like so badly, like just to get like demolished. Oh, it's Brandon's meat stick. This is my meat stick, everybody.
Oh,
Hi, Brandon's meat
Please
stick.
never say that again.
Hello. By the way, I just feel that he was saying that you're not his type because he hadn't met me yet.
True.
I'm sorry. Change your background to After Dark. It's over.
I
It's done.
literally can't. I literally can't. So I was in Tweeners Live, and everyone just kept making the weirdest like profiles ever. Like there was like, it was one of them was Tweeners Coochie Lips was one of them. Then we had Brandon's Meat Stick. Then we had it just got worse and worse. It got worse and worse.
Saggy.
Mel Saggy, yeah, that happens. It just got worse.
Right.
It never got better from there. It just went downhill.
Downhill.
Never underestimate the power of Brandon's Meat Stick. Yes, 100%.
Never.
Hashtag. It's gonna catch on. It's gonna catch on one day. One day it'll catch on. We are looking for
I'm sorry,
opposition.
I think I left the oven on. I gotta go.
oh God.
Not the oven. Was anything in the oven? Or
Wait a minute. What was the? Well, it was around 2010, 2012. Video gamers were. Oh, my fish tank is on fire. Sorry, gotta go.
okay, that's amazing.
Somebody that's a very op. It says, I'm very op.
We got the very op. The very op is at the very top. Very op. How old are you? Question mark.
34.
Not this individual.
Oh wait, do we know this person?
I don't know. I like food. Fish or food.
Great. What is your take on the backgrounds?
I just think being lesbian is bad. Because it's man hating. That just girls don't like guys at all.
Are you saying this just because you don't have Riz and you can't get women, or?
No, because it's just not right. How a girl doesn't like a guy at all. It's just stupid. And
Are you mad that lesbians don't love you?
I'm mad that lesbians don't like any guys. Don't like me or any guys.
What if I said it's stupid that you don't like other guys?
Yeah. What's that about?
What if I said it's normal that girls that are not lesbians don't like you either?
Oh shit.
Well, I don't like either, but lesbian stuff is worse though.
What, hold on. Is this a real conversation though?
It can't be.
Yeah.
Do you actually hold this worldview?
Yeah. No. It bothers me. I don't like it.
It bothers you. Okay, let's break this down. Let's break this down. So it bothers you that people don't like you or are not attracted to you?
It bothers me. The girls don't like me, and it bothers me that girls don't like any guys.
Do you feel the same way with like straight women who are you immediately like? Do you have the same worldview but against straight women who don't like you?
Yeah, but it's worse with lesbians though.
Why is it worse?
But they're the same one that they're the same one that would say because you're only a lesbian because you haven't met the right man yet.
Right. Yeah. Just I encourage you to lay off the corn that you're probably watching. Just lay off of that, and maybe like your ideals will change. Maybe.
It's just I don't know. It's like worse than just regular girls don't like me because it's like double. It's like double that.
No, it's not. It's not double that. It's just someone who isn't attracted to you. Like here, this is going very close to being attracted or getting mad at someone for not consenting to being with you. It's getting kind of close to that.
It sounds like we need some good background music here to get this sob story going. So if you don't mind, I'll play a little while we're doing it.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, just you can keep talking as Amber plays. Yes.
It doesn't make sense. Just
play it.
Why girls don't like guys at all? If they're not attracted to him, I don't think they like him at all. Like as a friend or anything.
Well, yeah, I really kind of like Demi's question. Why don't you like guys? Liz, hi Liz. Liz
Wait
Lieber
a minute,
is an
did you
amazing
just make the
vocalist.
claim that lesbians won't be friends with guys?
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
No,
they won't.
What? Lesbians will definitely be friends with you if you don't treat them like an object for sure.
They don't like guys at all, so they can't be friends with guys.
They're not attracted to men, so they won't be attracted to you.
Does that mean you don't have any guy friends? You don't play video games with guys or watch TV or go to the movies or anything? Because it sounds like you're not attracted to men. So that means you can't be friends with them either, right? This is your logic, by the way.
Wait, what? I'm confused. It's just girl.
We know.
Amber, you're so good.
I don't know. It's just not right. I just don't think it's a real thing. Being lesbian is a real thing.
It's not.
I
Now
don't
it's not
think
a real
being straight's
thing.
a real thing.
Huh? Where are you getting? Where are you getting this?
Because they can't get a date.
Yeah. Well, I can't. Yeah, I can't. I've been trying for 4 years, but it never works out though.
You've been trying what?
Jesus Christ.
hang out with a girl, like go to the movie or hang out or something, anything.
Yeah,
for like 4 years, like 4 years plus.
Oh yeah, sure. Maybe because you're objectifying them, like they have to be attracted to you, or else you think that there's something inherently wrong with them.
Well, here's the thing: 2 of the years I was getting trolled,
maybe
by somebody from a different country. They pretended to be a bunch of girls I liked. I was wasting my time. 2 years they had convincing ass stories, and the other 2 years.
That's okay. You're wasting my time right now.
The other 2 years, I don't even know if the girls are real. I don't even know if girls are real in general. Because it seems like all the girls are just scam artists and bots.
So your thing says fun trans girl. Are you trans or are you just a dude? What are you?
That was just a joke.
That's just a joke.
What's
I'm a
the
guy.
where's the punchline?
I was just trolling.
So
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
just-
You're making. Hold on, Amber. Wait a minute. You're not only are you trying to make a joke that's not funny, but you must be sub 18 years old, right?
No, I'm 34.
Then why does it say girl?
What?
Play it, Amber.
Oh, I say
Amber, I
guy
didn't know
or
you
girl.
played music.
Freaking amazing.
I've been in music business for 40 years, hon. So
What? I thought I lived an exciting life and did a lot of shit. Holy fuck.
yeah, I've been in you can hear my music on just about every platform. Brandon is way better than me, though. I mean, Brandon.
No, I just heard you play. Your piano skills are freaking amazing. Okay, this is much better than this discussion. This is much better than this discussion.
Bring it, fun trans girl. Come on, let's make it easy
Let's
like
go.
Sunday morning.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. It's just
Like, are you okay? Look, do you need help like getting a date?
I don't even know if the girls. I don't even know if girls are real. If the girls real or not. That's
Okay,
the thing.
okay. I'm gonna tell you. So women are real. Okay, they're real. I
I'm
promise you.
convinced they're not even real. I don't even know because there's
No,
so many.
I promise you. Let me give you some hints though from a gay man because I know everything about attracting women. Here's some hints. Don't objectify women. Don't act like if they are not attracted to you that there's something inherently wrong with them, right? Number two, just be respectful, be nice, like treat people like people and not objects. That's a huge thing.
I was going to go more with do some internal perspective to figure out whether you're actually real or you're the figment of someone else's imagination while you're dreaming, or you're a series of ones and zeros because this is all a simulation.
The second one sounds better. I like it. So yeah, it's just some helpful hints from your local gay man.
Yeah, so there you go.
Yeah.
Brandon, when are we going out?
As soon as possible.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. The scam artist, the troll that they thought pretended to be a girl that liked to be over and over again. It just ruined my life because he got me spammed for so many places. He just lied about me and he got me banned. And
Where are you finding dates?
shithead. This is from Reddit. Some asshole from Reddit.
Reddit's not a dating app.
Don't do that. Don't find dates on Reddit. Just
I said any girl want to hang out, and then that's how I all started it.
Oh.
2 years of that shit. Scam artists.
Yeah, don't put out ads asking if any girl wants to hang out.
Believe me, if I knew I was going to deal with that shit for 2 years, I wouldn't have.
I mean, you could try eBay.
If I knew how bad Reddit was, it's true. It's all true. Never anybody ever go on fucking Reddit. It's the worst. It's a fucking worst scam artist.
Actually, there's a really good website for finding dates. I think it's called 4chan.
With you. First eBay, now this. Okay. Yeah. Maybe try have you tried Tinder?
I tried Bumble, but I don't know. A lot of them turn off bots.
Grinder.
The first thing to do, here's the number one thing to do: get off of mom's internet.
That's number one.
You gotta get off mom's internet, hon. You gotta get your own.
Or just be friends. Just start with friends.
I'm trying
Get a friend group going, and then from there you can develop into something possibly. And if a girl is not attracted to you, then accept that and say, okay.
I didn't even hang out with the girl. I never even hang out with the girl. That's what I was trying to do first. Never works out though. Because every time I think the girl's real, it's like a scam artist. Or they're really far away. on Facebook dating and Bumble, it's either they're really far away or they turn out to be like a scam artist. Everyone I match with.
Try going out in public and stop meeting people online.
Yeah. Get involved in like clubs, like local clubs, and just like have like a friend group of like all these people, right? Just do that.
I don't really have clubs near me. That's a different area.
No, I mean like friend clubs, like on Facebook. You can find clubs.
I never found any club that's near me.
Wait, random question, by the way. Do you play D&D or like Magic or anything like that? Yu-Gi-Oh?
No, I heard about Magic.
Wait a minute. You better not be hating on Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, no. I love what I was going to say was, so that's how I've met people before. It's better to meet somebody in a similar group of something that you like to do, because you tend to have at least one thing that you both enjoy. So that'll be a good way to start.
Yeah, accurate.
I'm sorry, I got super defensive. I thought you were about to
calm down,
badmouth Dungeons
Demi.
and Dragons.
No,
do not yell at my meat stick. How dare you? Damn.
Brandon, we're on TikTok, so I can't respond the way I want to.
Yeah, there's many different ways. Maybe just like treat Brandon's meat stick is so wise. I can't. There's many different ways to meet people. Just like, here's the thing. Don't let that be like your main intention. If your main intention is to like find a mate, it probably isn't going to happen. Like, just have fun with a friend group, right? Have fun with a friend group and just develop relationships in that sense, and don't look for and stop saying that lesbians aren't real, because that's just not a thing. That
I don't even know if
girls
girls are real. Just girls themselves are real. I don't even know if they're real.
Do you think that they're robots, or?
No, I mean, I don't even think they exist. I'm so disillusioned. It's been a nightmare this 4 years. After that 2 years, and it's been a fucking nightmare. You don't even want to know. It's been bad.
So, wait. Brandon's meat stick, but a Swiftie is also in the chat. If all y'all change your screen names to this, I'm going to delete TikTok.
Brandon, I don't like the fact I can't respond with the sassy remark I was going to make because TikTok.
I'm deleting. I'm done. Goodbye, TikTok. It's been a good ride. Yeah, I just do that. Women are real. I promise you.
If anybody knows a good live chat group in the Portland, Oregon area, that would be good.
Yep. If you live in the Portland, Oregon area, if you could send this guest all the resources.
If someone can help me with a good live chat or group
so
thing.
many clubs and activities to do in Portland, Oregon.
Well, I'm not actually in Portland. I'm in suburbs. It's called Oregon City.
Welcome to Brandon After Dark.
I can't. I literally can't. Okay, I'm gonna send you some stuff after this in Portland. There's always groups of people who do like hikes, or they'll do like meetups. They'll do like book clubs or something like that.
There's a great way to meet us, through book clubs. Start reading like Pride and Prejudice or something and get into it.
Try to. Well, like.
There's something called Meetup. If you go to meetup.com, you can find groups and events in Portland. So meetup.com, and then everyone like gets together and they do events together. They do like community things, and you just like look for your interests, and you can just do. Yeah, Meetup is solid. Yeah, I've never done. I kind of want to do a like meetups.com where I live. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's just a cool way to like have like
According to the chat, I invented meetups.
oh wow,
It says it right there.
nice.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. I can see that. I can see that.
I didn't invent Earth. So.
That's incredible. Yeah, and then just like stop the whole like lesbians don't exist and women don't exist talk, because that's not attractive. And you probably won't get a date from there. But yeah, do that. Meetup.com is a thing. Brandon'sMeatstick.com.
I've been on Meetup, but I don't know how to use it. Can somebody help me? Here, I'll unprivate my account. That's what I'll do. I'll unprivate it.
No, hun, no.
I don't know how to use it. I don't know how to use Meetup. I looked on there; it's confusing.
Yeah, just maybe find someone who can help you, like a friend or something that can help you, like join, just like join in, and you can just kind of go through like the events and stuff to see what's in your area.
You should crash a meetup.
Yeah, don't tell them you're coming.
Don't tell them you're coming.
Just show up. It's fine.
You also got to remember, you're going to have to do this for yourself, because whatever effort you put into this is the type of relationship you get out of it.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to have other people do it for you and you're not putting any effort into it, you're going to have a no effort relationship.
Exactly.
Well,
Yeah, I don't know if you know this, but relationships take work. It is not easy. It is not easy, and in fact, it's a lot harder than most people think. Like it is a lot. It's a lot of work on both parties. So if you're going into this thinking it's going to be an easy thing, it's not. It's a lot of effort.
A lot of work and stamina. Oh, sorry.
That part too. Yeah. So just do that, and then just find like a friend who can help you. Help you. Brandon's Beyond Meat Stick. Okay, everyone needs to stop.
it's like a therapy session. What is happening?
Yeah.
I mean, it's good. I mean, I hope we're helping you.
Does that help?
Well, Brandon, I was just talking about just how to use Meetup. I was going to write it myself, but I don't even know how to use Meetup. It's confusing.
Yeah, find someone who can, like, one of your friends who can help you navigate the site.
I mean, really, only person I really hang out with is my mom, because she's sick, and I'm basically there on 24/7 helping her.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Well. Okay. So maybe can your mom help you?
She doesn't really know about stuff like that.
Oh, okay. That
She's got many problems, and yeah, she's already got a lot to handle because she takes my sister places, and she's got all these bills and health problems and stuff.
Okay, so number one, change your username because it's not cool. But secondly, meetup.com. I'll tell you what. If you message me at, how old are you?
34.
Okay. If you message me after this, I can try to give you how to go on to meetup.com, and I can give you how to sign up and stuff and see your area.
Oh, message you mean?
Yeah, message me on my account. I'll help you.
Yeah, I'm trying to change my name. I'm trying to change my username to PDX Oregon guy or something.
Sure. Yeah. So just
that's what they call PDX or PNW. It just basically means my area.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I can help you. I'll give you the instructions on how to join.
By the way, there's also YouTube videos on how to use Meetup.
True.
Kate, oh my God, Kate knows me too good. I don't keep. She knows me. She knows me forever. Probably for 4 years.
Yeah, I have seen you. I think I've seen you in Olive's live. I think you were doing that.
Oh, me.
Brandon's tennis balls. Okay.
I know Kata Bay. You know Kata Bay? I know her for a long time.
I don't.
Or Cowie? I'm sure you know Cowie.
How are you making these screen names this quick?
You can change your screen name once every 7 days.
Oh, this one I think I have to wait till a month.
Yeah, all y'all are stuck with this screen name now, just so you know.
Well, no, I think all 120 people in here, we should just all go change our name to Brandon something and just start.
Do not. I'm deleting TikTok. Cruelty-free meat stick. All right. I can't. I literally can't. Anyways, but yeah, if you want to message me, I can send you some YouTube videos, or I can kind of walk you through how to join a meetup.com.
Oh, like where to look and how to use it and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Thank you. Okay.
For sure. You're welcome. Have a good night.
Till.
Oh my.
Yeah, I'm going to say it anyway. Brandon, I can't yell at your meat stick when I'm choking.
I can't.
Oh my gosh.
I'm so scared. I'm so scared. I don't help. I don't like this world. I want out. Brandon's tennis balls. This is great. We are looking for opposition, preferably not from another Brandon's meat stick 3.0. This is so much. This is so much. I mean, Eddie, you're in the box, but someone said a galaxy to kick you because of how obnoxious you are. So you can come back another night when you're less obnoxious, but I can't bring you back on unless you send me another galaxy, and then I'll bring you back on. But that's the only way I'll do it.
And we'll even time you.
Yes. Brandon's big meat stick.
Completely unrelated, just because Demi actually kind of said something about, I mean, not about it specifically, but about the living in a simulation. Okay. Who's like, I guess, pro simulation? I don't even know what to call it.
That we are in a simulation?
I lean towards we're in a simulation, or at least a multiversal theory where two of the multiverses have torn together and deemed together to create our new universe that we're living in, which is why we have Mandela effects.
Brandon's meat stick for Kamala might be my favorite one thus far.
I'm not sure that's okay.
Actually, no, that doesn't sound right. But good for you for voting for Kamala.
No, with all the research I've done, it's like a 50-50 debate under the scientific community, and I would see with the vast way that the world is going downhill, it's just furthered my viewpoint that we're on a simulation and we're almost at the end, and we'll have a restart soon.
No.
Do you believe in the multiverse theory, Demi?
Yeah.
So if you believe in the multiverse theory, how could there be an end? If there's multiple universes, then why wouldn't we just transition to another one like we did about 10 years ago?
I take that from the concept of arc survival, where multiple different simulations are running at the same time.
Yeah.
So there's our programming wouldn't have any reason to go to a different one. A different one's already playing out a different way. So when the server resets and when we go back and we start doing it all over again, it's going to have a change of code, a upgrade to say 1.117 or whatever that may be, and the goal is to get us to go further. Again, this is simulation theory, where we're someone's plaything, kind of the way you play Sims 4.
Do we think? Okay, so I heard a theory on reincarnation, which is kind of cool, but
that's not fair. I'm a Buddhist and I follow reincarnation.
But I love it though. Like, it makes sense to me because. I forget who I was listening to talk about this, but they said that when you meet somebody and you inherently either love them or hate them, like instantly, without them even like opening their mouth, like you had experience with them in a past life, which is why you have these feelings for them now. Like they either hurt you or they were like your lover in a past life, and you have this instant like connection or instant like disdain for this for this very person. And I was like,
Yeah,
you know what?
it's
That makes
someone that
sense.
it's someone that left a scar on your soul or your energy or whatever it may be, a positive or negative scar, at such a drastic level that you have an innate not, you don't understand why you have this, either you love them or hate them feeling, but it immediately comes back because it's something that they've done to you in a past
Right.
life, either positive or negative. Yeah.
Right. That makes sense to me though. I'm just like, because that's happened where like I will be like, I don't like you. I don't know why I don't like you. I have no reason to not like you, but I just don't like you.
It's like this cycle of rebirth, right? The liberation, how we liberate from the cycle after our ultimate goal is reached, right? So karma, right? And things we do in our life that lead us there. There's all sorts of, like, between Hinduism, Buddhism, there's in, what is it called in Buddhism? Nirvana, right? So
Yeah, nirvana.
yeah. So I study a bit of that too. I think it's fascinating.
Yeah, I love that. I love that stuff. It's just very intriguing to me. And I'm an agnostic atheist, but I'm not a closed-minded agnostic atheist. Like I'm not like, if things make sense to me, which I've heard a lot about Buddhism, and that's the most out of any. Is Buddhism a religion?
It's philosophy and a little bit religion. So that it's.
Yeah.
I was going to say it's like kind of like a complex.
Yeah.
You can't sum it up with just one or the other. It's multifaceted.
Okay, because out of all of the things that exist, that's the most attractive to me, because I've heard a lot about Buddhism, because I feel like it's so centered, and like I'm just like, this makes sense.
The hardest. I hate to put it this way, but the hardest pill to swallow with Buddhism, especially when you follow it along the path of enlightenment, is you have to come to the realization that you will be endlessly recycled until you reach actual enlightenment, whether that be one cycle or that be a million cycles.
You become the Buddha, and that's actually an interesting segue, because and the chat says I invented religion, so I can speak on this. Thank you, chat.
Wow, you've done so much.
So much. It's just amazing. And
damn.
Religion,
is it called amberology?
That's kind of cool. I'm going to actually trademark that. Thank you. So when you think about religion is outward facing. So there's this deity that is separate from us, right? Whereas Buddhism and various other practices like that are inward. So it's self-facing, right? So it's a matter of, you are the God, you are the Buddha ultimately, based on what your actions are. So the difference between religion, outward-facing deity, versus you are the deity, the inward-facing, to become like enlightened, like Demi just said.
Well, almost the only thing I would take away from that is you aren't the Buddha. You are trying to achieve the same path as Buddha, who was the first to achieve enlightenment.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's super interesting. I love that. I think for me, it's just hard to subscribe to anything that is anywhere close to a religion, just because of the deconstructing I've had to do from Christianity, which I'm still doing, and the religious trauma that I experienced, because it's not something that I can overcome.
Demi, I need to argue with you, because I just looked in my book on Buddhism, and indeed it does say inside here in this chapter, it says a Buddha is one who has attained enlightenment. And according to Buddhist teachings, everyone has the potential to become a Buddha.
Yeah, you can become a Buddha, not the Buddha. Like I would agree with that. I don't like the wording behind it. Which book are you reading?
So when we talk, what book is this?
I was going to say there's a couple of really well-known books on Buddhism.
My whole keyboard just, holy shit, I'm holding it up with my left hand.
You're good.
My desk, I just lost 2 screws in my desk. Oh my god. I don't want to, hold on just 1 second. I don't want to. Holy shit. Oh, this is ridiculous.